Hey, we are live here at Into the Core podcast. I want to welcome anybody and everybody. I say everybody because of people who might watch this later on. Thank you so much for joining us. So, Into the Core podcast has now gone live, and we are streaming live on my Facebook, on my personal Facebook page, on the Core Fashion Kenya, which is my where the core basically started. Into the Core podcast, both on Facebook and YouTube. And I don't know why I haven't gotten into the Instagram, but they haven't welcomed Instagram yet. Anyway, we need to look into that bit. Today, we're going to be interviewing an absolutely fantastic designer who's Kenyan based, and his name is James. His brand is called Itikadi. But before we get into that, we need to get into the start of the show, which is something that we always do. Thanks to my guru who kind of got me into this. I've been so blessed and so happy. So here it goes. This is the intro to Into the Core podcast. Into the Core.
Get into it.
All good things in Africa and beyond. Into the Core. All good things in Africa and beyond. Okie dokie smoky. All right, so James, welcome to Into the Core. How are you?
Thank you.
I'm
doing really good. Just chilling
and
Friday.
Chilling because it's Friday. I don't think you chill. I don't know why you're lying. Anyway, this is the part where I said he's like quiet, but he makes very loud statements. You've been up to a lot of stuff. So why don't you introduce the brand Itikadi?
So the full brand name is Itikadi Fashion House, but most of the time I just go with Itikadi. And basically the ethos of the brand is we are very contemporary brand, but very inspired by art and culture. So a lot of the basis of my collections will come from things that I look at in either art. I love looking at different arts, different form of art, and basically researching into cultures that we have in Kenya and in Africa, and taking small tidbits of those and maybe having them be the basis of a body of work.
How did you actually get into like the whole fashion space? Is this something that when you were, everyone says when I was growing up, you used to see somebody, was there an influence that happened around you starting Itikadi and how that basically matured into where it is right now?
Yeah, actually there were two influences. So it's my grandmother and my mother. So my grandmother had her tailoring shop. She's a seamstress, so she did actually more of what I do, which is kind of a ready-to-wear wholesale. She never did anything custom made. And when we were kids, I remember from class 1 all the way to class 3, there used to be this thing where you go to school only half the day. School is to end at 12. So my dad used to always drop us at my grandmother's stall in Uhuru Market and then go back to work, and then she'll come pick us up way after, or my mom will come pick us up way after. So for these 3 years, we literally for 5 days of the week, I was in and around these clothes and guys doing clothes and all. And then gradually my mom took over and started her own business. Which was more corporate rather than ready to wear. So I've been around clothes for a long, long time. And I guess being an artistic child, this was a very easy medium for me to end up pick up and just move with, because it was there. I was used to it. I knew the mechanics, kind of knew the mechanics in and out. So it was very familiar. So I guess that's literally why I just moved into it.
Oh, that's awesome. I mean, like having both your mom and your grandmother as background into coming into this space. So what is, when I said that defining your own lines, tell me what defining your own lines means in terms of Itikadi as a brand, the structure that bases who James is and what you want people to see out of your brand.
That is still actually, it's a really great question. It's a very ongoing thing. How I design and how I look at the brand today versus how I looked at it 2 years ago is extremely different. And I actually based the real stuff and how I look at the brand experience from around 2015, because before 2015 I was employed, so it was more like I was half and halfing it. I was working and then I do Itikadi, in and around my work. And in 2015, when my contract ended, now it was do or die. Now it was like, now you need to figure out how you're growing this business. All those things you were talking about when when you're working, and you always say like, if I didn't have this job, it would have been big. Now it was time to show and prove, and I was given a proper beating by the industry. I was not prepared for for how difficult it is to actually now put your back into the business and
of
push.
Course.
So right now, how I define what this brand is I've always had this big dream of creating the biggest. One of the biggest fashion brands in Africa, and I think I still hold on to that a lot. But maybe in terms of what that represents, maybe that has changed. I want a more social impact. I want to leave a legacy of African brands can just be as big. Africa as a market can just be as big. We don't need to. It's really good to sell outside Africa or outside Kenya, but main market for me would be to build around Africa. So as a brand, I really want guys to see this kind of communication of what Africa has in terms of the influences, the colors. Not every, like for me, I'm really not into making things with African print, because I feel as integral as it is to a lot.
Sorry.
As integral as it is to, the vibrancy of African culture, I think also someone's personal taste takes a hold, and I'm less into the loud prints all the time. And I feel like I want to challenge myself with more detailing, because when you put details on less loud colors or prints, you really, really have to show those details well. So I want guys to see a really contemporary brand, something that still speaks a lot in regards to, what the continent has to offer. There's always this assumption that if you're a Kenyan or an African designer, full blast prints have to be part of your thing. And even if they are, it doesn't have to be the way people want it to be. And that's literally what I'm trying to, to find out. And with every collection, I'm learning. I'm actually asking myself, is this what you want to represent? Is this what you want to show out there? And I love seeing people in my clothes. So also that makes me feel like I don't want to be super inaccessible. So again, it advises how I design.
I mean, one of the things that I do love, and like, this is why I said, I mean, like, this is one of your dresses that I absolutely love. I mean, it's a shirt dress. I mean, like, I would love to get up for everybody, but I think I'll take some pictures later on it and kind of post them in. But I mean, like, I love how fluid this is, in terms of, showing how versatile of a dress it is, that you could look all professional but still look all casual and sexy and funky. And I think that that's basically our way of embracing African fashion. And you're right. I mean, I do get that print, there's a debate that is going on. And one of the debates was finding and defining what Kenyan heritage is, defining prints that are Kenyan, because, you've got Ankara, you've got all these, you've got the kente cloth, you've got the mud cloths, the whole West African vibe is so defined. And then when you look, everyone comes to Kenya and we're just like Kikoi, and everyone will say, no, it's not just Kikoi. It should be an integration of all the cultures to make one solid, type of material. But, I leave that to, I guess the Fashion Council here in Kenya, the Kenya Fashion Council, have got a lot on their plate to really come back and redefine that and define what that looks like and what that means. But in the meantime, I do get exactly what you're saying, especially when it comes to the business of fashion. We don't want to just be in a print. We want to be versatile, right? So, in terms of what we're wearing, and like you said, yours is like the defining points, which I absolutely love. So I want you to name drop some of the people who you have dressed and who you're proud, to be wearing your brand, and why. I'll come back to this in just a second. Maybe name some of the people who you've been dressing. I'm going to get back to the reason why I'm asking you.
So I'm going to think about this really, because there are people who I really, really love when they wear my clothes, but for specifically different reasons.
Mm-hmm.
Top of mind for me, one is Joy Kendi, who we did. I've done a collaboration with just recently, which was an absolutely amazing experience. And we've worked together on tiny things, like when she has an event or when she wants to go somewhere and she wants something to wear, she's always been open to picking some of my stuff. And what I love about when she wears, not even my items, because she wears like she has different aesthetics she goes for, and she has different designs that speak to each aesthetic, is that you actually can see she's so happy wearing them. It's like she enjoys wearing them, and that she doesn't wear them for just wearing them. So every time she wears something, I usually go like, oh, that's really cool. Same as another person for me who I've dressed, who I've really felt was really cool, was Annabelle Onyango. And this for me was because with Annabelle, actually, she has been a supporter for a lot of brands, and remember through her shop, which unfortunately isn't open as of now.
I know, that is so sad. It is. It's sad. Yeah.
Actually, Republic was my first really amazing retail experience, because before that I was at the Hub, and then at a shop at the Hub, and then when I went to Republic, on the first weekend I started selling. And if Annabelle and her business partner hadn't given me the opportunity to do that, I think I wouldn't have had the confidence I have in ready to wear, and pushing my brand in the direction that I want to push my brand. And of course, like her sense of style and how she picks items, and how we've done a number of small projects together as well, but they're always so much fun. And she's one of those people who she knows what she wants, and then it's very easy to kind of put yourself as a designer and bring out something that will align with what she's thinking. And even if it's items for herself or for her husband Marek, it's always been like really fun to work with Annabelle. Now I'm thinking about that person. Oh, there was the time we did Sauti Soul for their Live and Die tour.
Hey.
That was for me, that was big. It was hard, but it was big to get 4 people
Yeah.
in their spaces, right? And this is a performance clothes, and how passionate they are with their performances, and how they, how meticulous they want everything. But that was a really cool experience. Again, thanks to Annabelle, because it was she brought me in for that. Um,
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of someone else. I'm not really the type of guy who goes like
And
I
that's
like
and
name drop.
and that's okay. The reason why I really wanted you to highlight those points is because at the end of the day, when you're looking at the business of fashion, it's important for you to even, one of the things that we look at is when you're picking, say, influencers or the right people to wear your product, your brand, because that carries your business forward. Never
Yeah.
ever look at it on an angle like, oh, I'm just doing it for keeps. No, everything has got a business angle to it. So I think it's just important to define the people and the reasons why you want them to wear your brand. The aesthetic, everything is all about position, position, and position, because that's exactly what you said when you said you started at a shop at the Hub Karen, and then when Republic picked you up, then the business started flowing because Annabelle probably was wearing your shirt dresses. When she was talking about your brand, she was pushing your brand and saying, my gosh, I wear this all the time. You'd see her walking through when you're talking about Joy Candy. She comes to you, she looks for certain aesthetics, and then now you've done a collaboration with her. So all of it is really important in your setup. So by the time you're being slapped, the root, your awakening into the into the industry, then comes in the mighty forces, which allows you to understand exactly how you want to position your brand. You have to make the decisions to, yes, this person can wear my brand, or I don't know, she's a little bit too, she's over here. I mean, I don't mind her wearing it, but at the same time, remember, it represents who you are as an individual, as a person. You know,
Yeah.
I wouldn't expect, and this is just for joke's sake, I wouldn't expect your brand in like some strip club somewhere. Let us just be honest. You know what I
Nah.
mean? So it's like, hey, let's define who we are. Right now, who are some of the people? I mean, you've collaborated with Joy. How has that experience been so far with your collaboration? And are you looking at future collaborations with her? Is it a full on collection, or is it like just, line items that you guys have picked, to collaborate on?
So for this starting one, we picked like a line like set of we did a kimono and a palazzo pant set that was basically kind of a loungewear set, and the
Yeah.
custom print we did was more like an ode to comfortability with self. So we had a print that had the line art faces, and on the background of those line art faces were an arc with different like shades of brown. So we're
Yeah.
trying to get this comfortability with your skin or yourself and have it go with the loungewear comfort kind of feel. And I think we were a bit conservative because on both ends we were trying to be conservative for different reasons. And I think for Joy Candy, who has a magnificent sense of what she kind of has the same thing Annabelle has, which she understands her style, she understands what she likes,
Yeah.
and but also she confessed this in her one of her videos that she was really scared of starting her own line. So I think also we went for the kind of minimal pieces because we were trying to be conservative with maybe let's not put out too much and then we have dead stock. And for me, I was more on the business end thinking like, yeah, I know I kind of have some confidence that it'll sell, but I
Mm-hmm.
can't. Let me manage my cash flow. Let me manage how much I buy in terms of fabric, how much stock we put out, and then we'll
Yeah.
be able to, manage as we sell. Because I knew with net sales, I just didn't imagine it would be as rampant as it was, especially on the day one and day two was really crazy. We sold out on day one. We had to reproduce stuff and deliver them on Wednesday. Then we sold out on Wednesday. We had to reproduce stuff and then do it again on Friday. And then on Friday, we kind of sold out almost everything we had again. So as an experience, I'd say this was as good as it gets, given the times we're in, you know. And for me, actually, the one thing I was looking at is, I hope this actually gives, I hope this gives Joy like the confidence now to really look at, even if she wants to start her own brand.
Yeah.
It's still a scary business. It's still a very you need to get used to being scared and releasing stuff anyway. But I think that was for me for me it was an absolutely amazing experience, and hopefully we get to do another collaboration soon in the future. But all these things happen with time, because even this one, it wasn't like we planned it out. This was this year. It's not something we've talked about over and over again. I knew the season was coming when it was going to be cold. I wanted to do something a bit more interesting, and I was given like very good advice to try a collaboration, and I approached her, and she was down. She said she'd love to do something like that, and the rest was just now us going back and forth, shooting up designs and ideas for the print and all those things. And I think what came out with those was pretty amazing.
I love what you did with, the palazzo pants and the kimono. I mean, you guys just basically hit it on the head, nailed it basically, because everybody's looking to feel sexy while still working from home, while running errands, as fast as they are. People are in and out, and the economy is opening, but still, there's still guys who just want to be in the comfort of their own home, even while all this is happening, because this has become our new norm, right? So I really loved what you did. The loungewear is perfectly what is happening, what should be happening right now. People creating that you can feel good, look good, wake up with a brave face in the morning, while you're wearing whatever you're wearing. But I love it. And then I love the details with the palazzo pants. I mean, those beautiful faces and the imagery of it all was just, and then it's your signature at the same time. There was that signature of, this is Itikadi, this is James. And then there was, her style and her aesthetic. So congratulations on creating such a beautiful platform, and a great collaboration. So well in on on taking the chance on a collaboration. I think that's brilliant.
Right. And my account actually thanked me as well. So
hey, I've seen, I'm there's moments where you're just like, oh my gosh, there's designers that I look at and I'm always, it leaves smiles on my face. If I'm to talk about, let me name drop a couple of brands that I do love. And right now I actually want to gift one of the brands. So the last time I was live, I challenged, which is the saddest thing. I'm going to call it out for what it is. I said, please name a brand or name a business that would, this is bad, that would benefit from having a Nokia phone for their business, and, kind of uplift and make, this could add a little bit of edge to it. So what I really wanted to do is highlight a brand that I love. And I think, James, you know them. So I am, because I've seen what they're doing. Pure Purple, they make these beautiful leather shoes.
Yes.
And I absolutely, I love why she's doing it. I love that she's creating a new wave in creating leather shoes, and that she's looking to dynamically create sustainability in the industry. And I figured that this would be a right time because she's been going back and forth with me, and I know that this would help her business. And so this beautiful Nokia phone is going to be gifted to a beautiful brand called Pure Purple. If you haven't heard of them, please go and check them out online. I really just felt like, well, since nobody really wants to highlight brands like that, I'm gonna go ahead and do it. So I'm actually, and I know that she's probably not even online right now. She's probably somewhere out there. She's on a different hustle, eh? So last I wrote to her, she was going through something, and Nokia for you, and so that you can highlight more of your stories of how you're building your shoe brand here in Nairobi, and we want it all documented so that we can all see it. So congratulations to Pure Purple. I hope you enjoy this beautiful phone. Yes.
Is it a twin SIM?
It's
She needs a twin SIM.
Are you airing people's dirty business, Shirley?
She needs a twin SIM.
Well, I think it has a twin SIM. Yes, it does. It does. It does. It does. It does have a twin SIM. So, yay. So why don't you tell me why she needs? Oh, is it that one? No, okay, I'm not even gonna ask. Let's just say Pure Purple, congratulations. You got a Nokia 2.3 phone. I'm really excited. I just decided that this is going to be the best way to go forward, is since nobody is doing anything, and is not highlighting businesses. Isn't that sad? That this is why I need to today is about giving. So today, Nancy, I see you. So this is what I love. So Nancy is like, this is where you have to put on glasses, surely. So she says, it's so amazing to hear Kenyan creatives and entrepreneurs doing well. Kudos. So you know what, Nancy, because I've seen you here on multiple times, and today I'm just about giving. I'm about, if you're here, congratulations to you, because you're going to win big with me. Let's see. You know what, Nancy, because you and I have got 5-year-olds. This is somebody who I know. Mommy, you're going to have to bring your boy over this Saturday. Come home. I have the beautiful September box from Craft Nature. They are absolutely fantastic. They got from age 3 to 12. But I think this is the birthday present that your son needs from me to him, and because they haven't seen each other with DJ for such a long time. So please, please, please bring him over on Saturday, and the rest of the details shall be given on WhatsApp. So, this is me given this Friday. I'm feeling grateful for even the brands that have decided to onboard and come on board with me. So, Nancy, for you, mommy, it's a beautiful September multi-box.
Congrats to Nancy. And I have a 4-year-old who can come over and, enjoy.
No, I've got something for you. You know what? I've got something for your wife. Not for you. Not for you. You over there, you're already making money. Biasharas, and all those great things. I've got something for your wife, but I'm not telling you right now.
Oh, man. Okay.
I know. I mean, like, if she was there, then I would. Is she around? Is she in the area? Is she in the house?
Now today is her business day, so I'm actually I'm the one in the house with the kid doing the, we keep switching. So there are days when she has some stuff to do, because she's also a business owner. She's trying to grow her business. If she has errands or meetings and stuff like that, I close my day and I'm here. So that she can do her days, because most of the time she'll have to be at home and I'll be working.
And where is your son right now? Because if you're like me right now, I'm like picking my son. I'm like giving the evil eye. I'm like,
may I solve that problem? I dropped him off at my mom's for now.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, this little guy said that he'll be a charmer today, but I can see him as in he's just making small moves. So if you see me doing like this, just know that I'm like there's a leg somewhere that is doing other business, just like face off and everything. Um, anyway, so let's talk about what you think about the Kenyan industry. Do you feel that we have a space for creating affordable clothing? I think this is one of the things I know that is being, spoken about in the back end. So, do you think that there's a space for affordable clothing, and what do you think that it would take, like, for us to get, to allow people to, benefit from this?
First, in regards to the Kenyan market, the one thing I love about it is it's young, and how young it is means we have a potential. It's like a kid. We have a potential to mold it into the kind of industry that we want. It's not like a mature industry like, let's say, the European market or maybe the American market, where systems are so set. Kind of like changing them means you're literally breaking all the gears or most of the gears to start anew. So we have a great opportunity to just create something that is very unique to our market. And not only that, for multiple categories to exist within the market, starting from, like you said, affordable clothing to maybe the midpoint kind of price point brands, and even to very high-end brands, like really high-end kind of luxury brands can exist in this market. Because for as many customer categories that we have, we can have similar brands existing in those categories, because we know there are people who can splash out over 100K on item, an item, not even items with a plural, like an item, and they buy one thing. It just depends on whether they want it or not. There are people
Yeah,
who buy, around the 50K, 30K. There are people who will want to buy at the 10K, and there are people who will want to buy at the 5K and below. And I think we have an industry that can serve almost all these categories. Now, for me, it just depends on the designer and what they want. So,
yeah,
for example, I'll give myself as an example. Um, I don't feel like I want to be like super inaccessible,
yeah,
because I really want to see people in my clothes. Like if I bump into someone in my item, I don't even have to tell them it's me. Like I'll just smile and I'll feel like I want that seeing people in my items. But how I design and how I detail and how I structure my collections, I can't also do. I can't go on the low end of the market.
yeah,
So I'll have to like just kind of gauge which who am I trying to serve? Who fits in my head? Who is this itikadi woman wearing these items, and what is her lifestyle like, and is this something she can afford and stuff like that. And it's something that we've had even like arguments with my parents, because they're so old school. My dad usually goes like, why don't you just open like a stall over here in like I live in Islam, so they're like, open a stall over here. I was like, my customers don't would be there. Like I'll open a stall for display for things that people won't buy. And
yeah,
it's not a matter of they can't buy. It's just that maybe it's not the right area for your customers. And I don't find these things. I find a lot of people are being cagey with these discussions. Like if they say your customers are not on this, mostly on this side. I've had a lot of customers in and around Eastlands. They'll
yeah,
order my stuff, but to tell me for me to invest in space where I feel like my brand would translate. That's kind of what makes a difference in the choices I make as a brand. So
yeah,
I think the Kenyan industry is young enough. I think we have an amazing potential to kind of to grow into an industry that really looks at more than just you know there's I don't know how to explain it, but there's a way the other markets kind of work that's very superficial, and I think we need to avoid that as a Kenyan market, also as an African
yeah,
market. and we need to have more of a cooperative spirit.
Yeah.
And this I've learned over a long period of time, where when you start off, you're a bit cagey with, let's say, your design and stuff like that, and and of course, like even for me, like if I'm putting something on social, if I have
Yeah.
not designed something but I have it in sketch, I'm most likely not to show it. But if I've already done it and it's already in physical form, I'm
Yeah.
past whether people see it, because there are two. For me, there are two rules I usually follow. One, if someone decides to duplicate your item,
Mm.
I look at it more as a compliment
Which
than,
happens frequently.
yeah. So I look at it more as a compliment. But then it
Yeah.
depends on which side you are. I know when you're doing stuff like leather goods and stuff like that, the investment into a piece or into a body of work is way more than maybe for us as fashion designers as clothes. So duplication in different industries has different, let's say, can have different like effects. But for me, if
Yeah.
someone lets me do a shirt dress and they want to duplicate the shirt dress, I'll be like, okay, get the compliment.
Yeah.
Also, once I've done it and I've put it out there and I've done what I feel is a good number of the shirt dress,
Yeah.
then I can move to another design, because I'm not static in my head of what I'm designing. I'll never have this just one shirt dress. What I'll have is the category of shirt dress, but I don't have to
Yeah.
do that in the same way all the time. So that's why I'm a ready to wear brand. I want to keep switching up. I want to keep finding new inspiration and using that inspiration to uh, form new items that I can showcase, and guys can be like, new style propositions that guys can love and wear. And if someone has a wardrobe full of itikadi shirt dresses, I honestly don't expect them to be the same looking shirt dress. Otherwise, I've failed in my endeavor, in how I look at design. I want them to
Yeah.
have a closet full of itikadi shirt dresses, and with each shirt dress, each shirt dress has a different story, a different kind of feel, a different kind of mood, all the way from fabrication to detailing. Um, and so I think and this I'm learning. There's more of this thing in where you need to big up, you need to give cloud, shout out other brands, and I think a brand like Pure Purple does that very well on their social, where they shout out other brands, even other brands in their own category. Um,
Right.
I,
Yeah.
I have brands I really love, and I talk to the owners or the designers regularly.
Drop
Um,
their names.
yeah. So right now, one of my faves is, of course, Pure Purple is there.
Yeah.
Um, Very unique. Like, I keep telling her, like, her shoe is so unique, because I haven't seen that kind of shoe in leather here. Like, we've seen the sandals, we've seen the slip-ons all the time, but we haven't
Yeah.
seen this type of shoe, and I think it's really cool. Another brand is Bloom. So
Bloom.
Bloom,
Yeah.
so Bloom have come in and just kind of challenged that kind of Vivo aesthetic, and they're doing it in such, I think, such a fresh way. And I
Yeah.
think they're moving into more, also creating their own collections and stuff like that. Which is another favorite brand. There's this jewelry brand that I absolutely like. Two actually jewelry brands that I actually really love their work. One is we are Nairobi, but it's written we are NBO, by the guy, the jewelry designer's name is Michael, and we have brand Kivuti, with the
Oh
label.
yeah.
Yeah. Um, and I think one is, where NBO is more brass, brand Kivuti is more silver, but it's how they work. It's the product that is it's so unique.
Brian has the old school. When I say the old school, I mean like he has the old school aesthetic of um what a jewelry maker is. I mean, like he is a silversmith.
Yeah.
He's a master at creating his beautiful designs. And then
Yeah.
I think I've seen where MBO. I think I've seen them before, but I haven't followed them. But I've seen somebody speak about their brand. So
Yeah. So,
that's awesome.
And for Michael, it's just how clean the brass is. Like I've seen brass before, like
Yeah.
brass jewelry, but his was so clean, and there was such attention to detail on the lines, and it just had a very sophisticated feel about it. Even
Yeah.
on how he displays, and it was just so clean. And I remember there was a time that I did. I met him actually the first time when I did pop up and chill,
Mm-hmm.
and it was at the Shamba Cafe, and we were literally tables next. So I had my stand, and he had his table right
Mm.
next to me, and I when it started off, it was like 10 a.m. when guys really started coming in. He started selling just like this, and I caught a heart attack. I was like, my God, everyone is coming to this table, but I understand. Like I see the stuff, I'm like, yeah, even me, like if I was, you know, I wouldn't blame anyone from buying. Good thing we started selling like at 12, and then we went on up to 3 o'clock. So I kind of like moved it on. But then I really noticed it, and then we did the pop up again, I think, and then this time he was there. And then when I was doing village market, I was at the pop up on in February. I
Yeah.
literally had to bring him in, and it was such a breath of fresh air to have his jewelry in the store. And then I think the next month is when Brian Kivuti came in now, because it was someone else's month. And then that's the first time I saw his brand. And then I started following and now seeing his stories, how he does the stuff. It's just really, really cool um, to see such brands like
You know,
exist.
speaking of which, I mean, like, I feel like I owe it to the retail industry to send huge shout outs. I used to be at the Hub, Karen, and I remember we started, the you know the African or the Kenyan pop up experience there. So I really do want to shout out the Hub, Karen, and I also want to shout out Village Market, as well as I'll go for it because I still love them and I love the resilience of it. Westgate. So when I talk about retail spaces, they're not paying me anything for anything, but I do really love the fact that they have this whole really push to local brands, buy Kenya, buy African, wherever you really want to position yourself in, they have that really molded and covered. So I'm giving my huge kudos to the Hub, to Village Market, to Westgate, for a support of the community, of the fashion industry. There's other this one is a plug. This one I really want to plug them out because I know that it has been a struggle for them, but hopefully maybe when things open up it will be a different aesthetic, that they would kind of look at the mall into a space where it becomes like an Etsy space. And I remember speaking with somebody about that. Was I really love the aesthetic of Roslyn Riviera Mall. And yes, I have, my heart is also with them because I feel like what a beautiful space to be in. And I hope that, things kind of start progressing and building up. So those are my plugs. I mean, when you see something beautiful, and especially for me coming from a retail space and a retail dynamic, it's always great to highlight all these spaces because it means something for the business of fashion. It really
Yeah.
does mean something. So especially where you support, it always comes back tenfold. Okay. Um, I need to do another giveaway. So I just feel like this one's pretty big. I would love. Hey, Wanjiko says she loves itikadi pieces. I know. And where are your beautiful baskets, guys? I owe some calls, huh? Henny James. You know when somebody comments and then you're just like, woo, I was supposed to call. Anyway, let's just be quiet right there. Let's support another local business. Right now, in order for you to win a beautiful, let's go with my girl who I absolutely love. I love Wana. You've heard of Crafted Nairobi, right?
Yeah.
So I have a beautiful bag here to give away. I don't know if you can see it. A sturdy, beautiful backpack from Crafted Nairobi, beautiful designer called Wana. So since I just see one person over here watching, if you just put down here, comment below, Crafted Nairobi, the bag is yours. Yummy, today is that day. It's a day for giving. I like no hold backs. It's a full moon. It's a time to realize dreams. It's a time to manifest what is right and what giving should be about. So today, there's no detailed translation. It's just an appreciation from Into the Core podcast. So you write it down there. Crafted Nairobi. And this beautiful bag is yours, and we share details on how we can get it to you. Um, James, I mean, no, you're not. No. But here's the thing: is that Wanjiko, congratulations, that bag is yours. You're absolutely right. This bag is yours. It's all yours. This beautiful one here. All yours. And Wanjiko, we need to highlight some of the stuff that you do because you do brilliant work. You're supporting, you're creating sustainability. We will be talking to you at some point soon. So we're together. I hear you, you hear me. So congratulations on winning what you call the beautiful Crafted Nairobi bag. All right, so let us talk a little bit about where are you seeing yourself right now? I mean, in terms of where Itikadi wants to be. I mean, in terms of positioning yourself now, you know, we're hoping the market's open, but where do you see yourself?
I think I can answer that in two ways. So what I'm building towards is Itikadi being kind of can I say mid-priced brand? So as a small warning, some prices might start going up, but not up, not like seriously up. But what we're trying to do is I still have my vision of really being a big brand.
Yeah.
And what I want is in terms of business model, maybe we're looking at Itikadi being a brand that maybe has two of its own stores, maybe one here in Kenya, maybe one in another location in Africa, but selling across different other partner stores like retailers. And especially with especially with this collection that we did with Joe Candy, what it did is it opened the brand up to a very new audience that I didn't know we had. An audience that, you know, a more international audience. We got a lot of US, UK guys, you know, putting their orders in, calling in, ordering on email and stuff like that. And even up to international buyers, like who have their own clients on the back end and they want to do purchasing for them. So we are now I'm now seeing a lot of different avenues for sales, a lot of different avenues for expanding a collection into a more diverse collection that can serve, for example, like right now, as Kenyans or as Africans, we are moving more into our summer, which is, you know, December. Everyone's going to be in coast again, and then we have yeah, guys were in coast. Like, I don't know, last month everyone was in coast. I was like, hey, but there was no traffic.
Kilifi, Diani, Lamu, in that sequence.
Yeah, like the team of Nairobi just upped itself and went there. So and so they'll do it again in December, and then we have the more international markets, US, UK, moving into their winter. So it makes it very difficult. It makes it very tricky for if you're a brand that serves two markets. You need either two collections or to do one theme of a collection in two different fabrics. But it's something that, you know, with some kind of, we'll just figure out what line items in a collection we can kind of, you know, push more into one market versus the other.
Yeah.
But mainly my main market will always be like, more of the African market. So we're just trying to be that kind of really interesting contemporary brand that guys can feel like they can wear. I really say an Itikadi piece has to be something you can pick up on a random Tuesday, and
Yeah.
you won't need to think about, oh, what event am I going to, or what this or that. Like there are pieces that will fit into your day, but immediately you wear them, there's just something unique about how you look on that specific day. So it's kind of that balancing act between making it's like a very fun friend who you can go with that, and you can go somewhere with, but then they'll
Yeah.
really up your day. Like your day will just be really cool because of them. So I don't know if I'm answering that question right, because
No, I mean, I completely understand it, because at the end of the day, I mean, like, um, of course we want our locals obviously to buy our brands, and of course you still want your brand to grow bigger, and to serve an international market. And that's, you know, there is absolutely nothing wrong with that. What I do love about the African is, like serving, I want to say Africa or Kenya anyway, let me just stick specifically right now to Kenya, is that whatever you're making out of your brand, you can always load it up with something else. You know what I mean? Because we don't get harsh winters. When we're talking about the winter months in the States, it's a whole other different aesthetic. So I completely understand. And that, what a lot of people don't really gauge is, at the end of the day, that costs money, because you're
yeah,
sourcing for two different lines. You're sourcing for a more heavier, more heavier material, and then here it's lighter. Let's talk about cost factors. Where you're sourcing it from, because at the same time you don't want cheap material. You want people to have longevity, with what you're wearing, because right now everybody's thinking about, if I purchase this dress, how long is this going to last me? I'm not purchasing off the whim.
yeah,
And I'm just saying this because of, you know, let me speak for myself. Let me not put other people in my box. Right now, for me, I really have to think three times before I do anything, because consultancies out the door, in comes in the podcast, in comes in all these other little things that we're working on. So spending money is not going to be that easy for me. As much as I really want to support and buy, it's not that easy for me.
yeah,
Where my first thoughts are, pay rent, put food on the table, because we need our roof. We need to put food on the table. Is my son okay? And then after he's okay is when I'm like, okay, let's jump into other things, if anything. But for now, I mean, that's where everybody's thinking. You also have to start thinking about your cost factor and what that
yeah.
means for Itikadi as a brand. So, I mean,
And you know what that statement you just made just highlights another factor of the industry that people really don't get to see, which is the grueling aspect, of it being a business, and a business in this, a business that's, as I said, and it's a young industry that doesn't get a lot of confidence in people,
right.
uh, and I don't doesn't get a lot of confidence as well in terms of, let's say, how, in terms of policy, if you're looking at it from a government standpoint, but that
Yeah.
policy part needs to be handled more by us coming together, and I think that's why the Fashion Council is there. And the more we engage, the more we'll get headway into that, because that's also how it happened for the IT. That's just how it works for government and policy. Government is too big to keep focusing on small points, so you have to bring yourselves together and lobby, and I think that will just come with a lot of lobbying. But then there's this other part that social media has kind of hidden behind the scenes, where everything on the front facing is the glamour and the
And
fun
there's
part,
nothing. Yeah.
and on the background, the how grueling it is. Like right now, I've spoken so much about the Joy Candy collaboration, but what guys don't see is, over the past month, I couldn't maintain my tailor. So everything you saw that was on the Joy Candy collection, I sat down and I made everything. I did the printing. Like this was a one man behind the scenes production. The only thing is, because I've had enough experience, production isn't difficult for me, but it was very grueling given the amount of sales that happened at one time, and hopefully we'll get a kind of a team, my team kind of back. So guys don't see this background things, and they don't see that designers out here don't sleep. No matter how much they put out there that things are good. Some guys, yeah, you might find that everything is fine. It just depends on how you structure your life. But if you're running this business and you're really going to grow it, some people really don't see behind the scenes, and a lot of designers are very hesitant to put that out there for various reasons. I'm a very private, I'm a very private person. So for me, I wouldn't put it out there that because also as much as it was grueling to produce that whole collection, it was also the most fun I've had in a while, because there was it was positive. There was positive feedback. I was making items and they were moving, and there was a great response to them. So it was only grueling in terms of time, and you get tired. But in terms of the payoff, for all the reasons, like I would do it again, because it was so much fun seeing guys comment positively on the collection. When customers get it, they shoot you a text saying they love the pieces, and all those things make it worth it. But it's not a sustainable way to do things, And on the background, there's a lot of things that customers don't see, and a lot of things that don't translate until, the way Kenyans buy things, and something is a certain price point, and they have this Kenyan shorts at the price. Like, like if you have an item, and let's say it's like, if you have a pair of shorts and it's like 8K, and then they're like, 8K, kwani nitakai kuja ijivalishe? Like, Kenyans usually do. They just want, it's like looking for more value, because they don't see the value in the item itself. But it's because the background is never shown, how hard it is to get this stuff over the line. And for fashion, actually, I usually feel more for guys who do like leather, like Pure Purple. I think she did a story of the evolution of the Adero, and the MOQs they have are crazy, and the upfront money you have to put is crazy. And I was just like, maybe if I want to change a collection, it's like that. Like, as long as I've reached my threshold of this is the minimum quantity, now I can do a new collection. I'm off, I buy fabric, I start a new collection. My MOQs are not that crazy. It just depends on how much I want to put out. So there are brands who have been totally affected by the pandemic. There are a lot of things that customers don't see that are very grueling to fashion brands. And we have to also understand as fashion brands, like, there are guys who, this is not a priority for them right now. Buying your clothes is not a priority for them right now, And it's a balancing act of, there are customers who will still buy. If you do, like, I think we did a good collection that translates into the time, so we guys bought. So it's just a big balancing act of.
1 moment, DJ, don't put that in your mouth, darling. Don't. He's putting a battery in his mouth. The reality of doing lives at home.
No, I saw it coming. The minute you did this, I was like, he's eating something.
For sure. What? And I feel like it's almost like he knows. He like comes around and he's like, yo, what time is it? What time is it? And I'm just like, yo, leave me alone. I'm having a great talk. But no, I completely understand you. I mean, people don't have the understanding of the back end. Like you said, a lot of people think of it as being glamorous. Oh, wow, you're a fashion designer. Amazing. Like, just in order for you to put a beautiful piece like this, FYI, everybody, this is an Itikadi shirt dress. I would like to stand up, but hey, I don't know. Do I have space here? Anyway, hips don't lie. Anyway, sawa. So it's one of those things where from sourcing your material to paying a tailor, like you said, right now you don't have a tailor. I don't have a nanny. I mean, there's some things where you're just like, let's cut costs. I can do this on my own. I mean, it's the same thing for you. I mean, hopefully you get into the space where now you can maintain. But I'm so impressed, and I'm like, wow. Like my heart is just like, you did the whole collection on your own, workshopping for the Joy Candy collection. And when you sold out on that Friday, now it translates and makes sense in my head, because I'm like, this guy had no help, none whatsoever. You've been making those pieces all by yourself. That is just, it's brilliant. But this is where we are right now, I guess, right?
Yeah, this is exactly the climate it is right now, and I think people will start getting it a bit more. Especially, I wish, like, guys, the young ones, like, who are coming off fashion school and stuff like that, they always want to be the designer, and they always feel like, I remember there's an intern who asked me, like, I think they were feeling like what we're doing is not so glamorous or so fun. And I had to
Yeah,
remind them that I've never found fashion to be glamorous for me. Like, I enjoy designing, but I don't
yeah,
take it as glamorous like endeavor. Like, we're traveling here, we're traveling there, we're having. No, for me, it's a creative outlet that I really love and I really want to do. And I had to remind them what I do here is I design, sample, make pattern, sample, repeat. Design, make pattern, sample, repeat. And I told them that's the only thing we do here. I'll drop a design,
yeah,
we'll make a pattern for it, we'll sample it. If it's good to go, production. We start
yeah,
again. Like, I don't lie to them that there's fine, yeah, there's, if that's glamorous, then that's glamorous to the person. But I have a very deep understanding of what I value in what I do.
mm,
And for me, the fun is in the creation process. The fun is
absolutely.
in having something in your head and
Come to
seeing,
life.
yeah. And in some ways, when you design and there are these tiny mistakes that end up being detailed, those are the parts that I really, really, for me, really, really give me the joy of doing what I do. And in a bigger way, maybe bigger than myself,
Yeah,
is if this all works out, and it'll have to work out because I have to work hard at pushing it out there,
yeah,
is the confidence it will give anyone who's behind me or who's coming after Itikadi to say we
yeah.
can do this. As brands, we can do this. We don't have to wait for LVMH award for validation. We don't have to wait for being featured in Vogue
Hey,
for
yeah,
validation. Yeah, which is all nice. I mean, I see a lot of guys being say we were featured in Vogue and all that, which is all cool. But
yeah.
I think, and of course, if I'm featured, I'll be one of those guys who puts it up like on their stories, like featured on Vogue. But I don't take it as validation.
Yeah,
Recognition, yes; validation, no. Um, so we have to validate ourselves
as the
as brands.
designers of the brand. Yeah,
Yeah, because what we do makes value. It's kind of the argument where, and this one really irritates me, Linda. This thing that African art is always somewhere, or the African art that is really revered always lies somewhere in Europe and not in Africa. But you'll
yeah.
find zero European art lying anywhere in Africa, and then you ask them, they're like, oh, it's safer here. I'm like, what? Like, you can't have stuff that is native, literally native. You know up to where it was, and it's lying it's somewhere in France, and the country is refusing to bring it back. It's just disrespectful in all levels, and it's kind of the
Absolutely.
thing where they set the tone. They want to say they set the tone of what is considered art, or what is considered creative, or what is um,
Mm,
considered valuable in this sense of creativity. And we have taken that up, I think, as an African country to look to the West and say, is this enough? Like, it's like guys kind of do that thing of where they go like, we've made this. Is it, do you approve? And I think those things like or maybe I'm wrong, but I feel like that's kind
no,
of
I
the
hear you.
that's kind of the sense I feel when guys do collections and they go to New York Fashion Week, and then you're like in New York Fashion Week with no plan. You just went to New York Fashion Week. You didn't talk to buyers, you didn't talk to stockists, you didn't talk to anyone. And then you're like, oh, is this enough? And I feel like these are things that I want just guys to take validation as themselves. Like
Yeah.
if you're a Kenyan designer, if I was to go to a fashion week that is big, I'd start with maybe the Lagos one or the South African one. Those are African markets that I would feel comfortable selling in because, again, the African markets, we share the same climate more or less. It's that for me is what I feel. I wouldn't bust my ass going all the way to New York first before I hit SA or Lagos or even Kampala if they do something. But it has to be. I have to look at it both from a who do I want to serve point of view and business point of view, and say, is this a market? Can I go there and buy? And can
Yeah.
I follow the same rules? I just feel like if me and my peers can be able to build strong brands that can stand on their own without looking for validation from other markets, then that's where I want to go. And sorry, just to finish, like there's a designer, I don't know if it's a designer or a stylist, and I think he's West African, called Pantheo. Pantheo, am I saying that right? I don't know if he's Ghanaian. I think he's Ghanaian. I'm not sure. Somebody correct me.
Okay.
Pantheo. So they did a collaboration with Gucci. Not with Gucci. With is it with Louis Vuitton?
Uh-huh.
Who
Let's
did they do
look.
a collaboration with?
I'm
So
on
they did.
Google right now. Keep going.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So they did a collaboration with either it was either no, it's not Gucci, it's Louis Vuitton.
Okay.
So they did a collaboration, and they came to him. They came. The designer came here.
Mm-hmm.
Maria, I don't know. Her name is so long. Maria something. I don't know. She came here. They walked around in Ghana. I think they went to the markets, and that's what
Oh, I
I feel.
saw that.
Yeah,
I saw that. Okay, yes.
yeah. So that's what and I enjoyed seeing that because they came to him. He already knows his value. He knows what he does. If you want to do
Yeah.
a collaboration with him, why should he go? You come, and they did,
And they
and
were
they came, paid
and they were
homage.
picking the material
Yeah,
in
and
the
so
markets. I loved that. Yeah.
if you do that as a brand or as a big international brand, then you've given the due. You've given a shout out to you've shown the creative process. You've given paid homage to the where the creation has started. You've
Yeah.
highlighted them. And so when it goes onto your collection, the story is more solid. No one is going to argue that you are inspired. Being inspired isn't wrong, but just
Yeah.
picking it and giving no backstory.
Mm,
And what I loved is the fact that he didn't go to them, they came to him. And I feel
yeah.
more Africans should have that in them, that we are valuable as we are, and that's enough. If you want to buy, our
Yeah.
website is link on the bio. We'll do shipping. All that is all good, but it shouldn't be like, oh, now I have international buyers. Oh, now I have this type of buyers. I think it's more like build your brand with kind of the vision that it has, but take validation in the fact that you're already creative and you're already a designer. All you need to now do is build the brand to what you envision it to be. Sorry, I went on
Yeah.
that track. So it's something that really irritates me.
No, but you know what? If let me just give you a back end before we wind down. I remember this was probably 20. We started Mahalet and I, we started the Hub of Africa Fashion Week in Ethiopia in Addis Ababa, and in 20, so that was 2010, and then the next one we did was in 2012, and we had partnered with USAID, and we had some really great big backers, and they were bringing all these buyers and everything. And the one thing, this is where you have to learn from the mistakes, because you were talking about being designers going to New York Fashion Week without a plan. So here we were as the organizers then, and instead of making sure that all the designers who we were featuring were in production, we got all these big, so many names, all these designers flying in, Hub of Africa, we're getting really big and this is going to be fantastic. And we were doing it that year at the African Union. Oh my gosh, new building is just great space. And then guess what? not everybody was in production, which means that they were tailoring their own stuff. So the finishings, oy, kay marami. So we got called in to a room at the Sheraton Hotel, and Mahale and I got a big whooping in the year from all these. I think we had 10 big buyers. So you can imagine 10 big buyers that are being flown in by USAID. They're just like, oh, we've got this American who's coming from here. We've got this person who's coming in from Japan. We've got a Chinese buyer who's coming in. We've got the European market. We've got Germany and London. And we're just like, oh my God, we've made it. Yeah, no, we had not made it because out of all of those guys, I think maybe 3 or 4 brands were in complete production at that point. You know what I mean? Like back end. I remember who won from it was Fikarta Yafikar Design in Ethiopia and Doreen Mashika were the ones who were just given like a hands down, let's push them through. And I remember even Doreen going through a stint where you're getting so many orders and you can't fulfill those orders because you're not thinking about sourcing of material and stuff like that. So all of these things come into play. And when you're saying that you don't have a game plan, believe you me, for me, that was the end of it. If you were ever, and I want to say this for the brands that have come and participated even in the core fashion Kenya events, anybody who's been part of the core knows that you do not come on board unless you're in production. Because while I'm talking to buyers, because at the end of it, it's about you making money, right? As a brand, otherwise there's nothing. We're used to the same thing of everybody coming to a fashion show and then not even supporting the brands, not even buying from the brands. And when you say it's 8,000 shillings, everyone's like, hey, it better hug me at night. And you're like, wow, but you will travel to Dubai and spend the same $80 on something else. So, I mean, give us a break, support local. I mean, when I say give us a break, I really mean it. Like, allow for our designers to shine for who they are, because it is not cheap to produce. To have a clothing line. It's not just about, so you just butter those 3 or 4 tailors. Those 3 or 4 tailors need to have food to put on the table, need to pay rent, and probably have children to feed. So you're not just going to pay them like 50 bob and then they walk on their way for doing such a glamorous, such great finishings and all that great stuff. There is a support system, and which is why it's sustainable. We're trying to create that sustainability, allow them to thrive, which means that this brand thrives, which means that, you continue to create without having, headaches and poundings and all that great stuff. But I mean, there's another support system for me. For mine is just kudos to you as a designer, kudos to you, even having the knowledge to even produce these beautiful clothes on your own. And I hope we get back into that support system where we can get you back on track, by having a great team behind. I know that you, anyway, that's my spiel.
Yeah.
But I think let's end this here today. I'm going to, I have a project that I'm working on, that is going to be out probably in the next 2 weeks. And I'm working with beautiful designers. I think James is one of them. Itikadi will be one of them. I know for sure there's quite a few designers who are out there who are jumping on board. And I can't wait to share the story with you, because it goes far and beyond into something I think I've been waiting my whole life to do. I've just, and for me, this is the part where we're doing it. So, but I want to say thank you so much, James. You're such an inspiration. Thank you for dressing me last time with Mariam, and thank you for dressing me today while talking to you. I hope I did you proud with this. Can you see how I tied the bow?
Very well done.
I did it.
Yeah.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you so much. Bows just they give me frustration. I had to wake up so early just to think about this bow. Oh my God, the small little details in life. But I really want to say thank you. You're amazing. I'm so proud of everything that you've done so far. I can't wait to see what basically happens in the next couple of weeks. Guys, if you want to see his collections and the works, please Instagram it, please.
I added. I put the Instagram there.
Yes, tell me. You're
Oh, the
basically,
Instagram is just Itikadi Fashion House. But as a lot of stuff is on our website, which is itikadi.co.ke.
itikadi.co.ke. And that's basically oops. Did I go into, I went into the wrong place. Hold on 1 second. Sorry. Let's plug it again. Okay. So it's itikadi.co.ke. Let's go. All right. So please go in, support, make sure that you get in there, support the brand, subscribe to our YouTube. Please follow us. There's more amazing stories. I've always been looking for these people who are going against the grid to make beautiful and powerful journeys in their lives. And basically, this is what Into the Core is. We've just gotten into the core with James. I'm so excited and I'm happy. I thank you. Mwah. I'm sending you so much love.
You're welcome.
And
You're welcome.
I'm hoping I can hook you up. I need to ask Crafty Nature if they can hook you up with your 4-year-old. So don't worry. Let me see what my plugs can do. Let me call people. Let me make some phone calls. This is for your wife. So in me supporting, I know Samara is she's gonna kill me, but I love her. There are these beautiful nail polishes. This is not about you, by the way. This is about your wife. It ain't about you. This is for your wife. So you'll basically be spoiling her just a little bit with these beautiful products from Samar, local nail polish. And I feel like this is part of my support system. So this is for you, James, but more so for your wife, because we must support each other where we can. So she needs to be glammed up,
She'll really love that, actually.
Oh, really? Awesome. Yeah. And then if you guys want to go and check out Thamar on Instagram, go check out Crafted Nairobi, obviously, because they have these beautiful bags that I absolutely love. And I can't wait because Wana has got a collection coming out, and can't wait for her to show you what she's working on. And then obviously to Pure Purple, another beautiful brand that is by my partners, Nokia. Thank you so much for supporting me. And this is, another beautiful Nokia phone goes to another beautiful person. Mwah! I love you guys. Huh?
Were there like 2 of those Nokias lying around?
Oh man, why didn't you let's see if Nokia would like to support a young hustler.
Yes.
I'm definitely we'll reach out to them and see what they can do for you.
I'll even do like a whole story video and stuff using the phone and all its features.
We'll see what we can do. Here I am. I'm like, can't touch your mouth. I'm like,
no pressure. No pressure.
I know, zero pressure, none whatsoever. But sending you love. Have a beautiful weekend ahead. And thank you so much, James. I really appreciate everything.
Thank you so much. And I really love what you're doing with Into the Core. It's really amazing.
Thank you. Thank you. Mwah. Thank you. Bye, everybody. Okay.